free flowing, sailing with the wind, not knowing how this story ends. Kind and brave, I know you'll find a way. Live your truth and good will come to you. Home, sweet home. Home, sweet home.
This little painting that I'm working on might just be the tiniest painting I've ever done, I think. It's actually sort of a practice study that's going to be a possible prelude to a larger painting that I'm thinking of doing. And so I'm not going to be too picky on getting this painting perfect. It's really just a study for the colors, the lighting, and a feel for the whole scene. This view is from Olana, which is Frederick Church's home in the Hudson River Valley, and he, like a master painter that he was, created this beautiful landscape around his home that kind of looks like you're stepping into one of his paintings or stepping into his world. It's really fantastic. But to be completely honest, the reason why I did this little tiny practice painting is because I had no idea what I really wanted to paint. And I don't often fear the blank canvas, but when I do, it hits hard. So let's talk about it. In my experience, dropping out of the creative flow, or any productive flow really, sort of makes my life flash before my eyes. I really dread it. I know it's dramatic. But since artist block is not really normal for me, at least not consistently, I wondered what brought me here. And, the path to feeling creatively frustrated can be really different for different people. But for me right now, it has to do with time. I've been pretty busy the last month with some family-related things, traveling, and other work stuff, which is all like good things, but very much routine interrupting things. And honestly, there's really nothing that kills the flow of deep inspiration and excitement that I have for my art than a time crunch. And I know it can be the reverse for a lot of people. I know some of you work really well under stress and pressure, which I'm kind of envious of. But for me, feeling like I have a limited amount of time to do something, or my attention is scattered across a bunch of different tasks, that often leads to a drought of authentic, interesting streams of thought that lead to meaningful creative project ideas. It's kind of like when you have to perform a task that you've done 100 times, but once someone is watching you, you totally freeze. And it's hard not to be self-critical when I struggle to operate at my best at periods of time where there's higher levels of activity and busyness. Because I do see other people able to just lock in and do a task and finish what they need to finish. And their work is sometimes better for it. And sure, I'm capable of that, I did that plenty in grad school, but it's not like that's where my best work actually does come from, and it's not a natural strength of mine to just organize things, slot in tasks, and shift gears really quickly. Even if I slotted out an hour to paint, it would probably be the worst painting session for me because I need probably 4 or 5 hours to really get a good painting session in because I need to settle into what I'm doing. I need to process and be really present and just let things flow and kind of drown out the world around me. I don't know, I'm just not really a short bursts of work session kind of girl, but I have a suspicion this might kind of be like a creative thing, so you can let me know if this is familiar to you or if you have an entirely different workflow. This video is really about breaking down expectations in work culture and just kind of embracing what actually works for each individual. So I'd love to hear it. By the way, if you're wondering how to create more depth in atmospheric landscapes, the easiest way for me is to use a glaze, usually a light white or some sort of warm or cool tone depending on what the atmospheric perspective calls for. Typically, if you're looking at mountains and stuff like that, it's going to be bluer the further away that scenery is from you. But, during sunset or something, it could be a warm tone. And I've got a little bit of a mix here. But basically, I will kind of paint the background, finish it, let it cure for like 24 to 48 hours, and then I'll go ahead and put a heavier glaze over it as you see me doing here. And it just creates that more natural effect to the eye that you would have when you're looking out over like a view like this, because basically air in reality is not invisible. It has particles, it has water, and the light reflects on that and really kind of creates a haze the further in the distance. So this is something that's super simple and it just creates a lot of realism. So when I first was starting out as an artist, like even in my last few months of grad school when I was transitioning into becoming an artist, my natural tendency to flow rather than have a hard schedule was kind of like my worst enemy. I felt like such a failure sometimes when I didn't succeed at structuring my time the way I did in school or work. And my natural workflow made me feel so unprepared, at least by other people's standards, to try to start my own business. And I definitely wondered if I was even good enough, or if I just get lost in the process and waste my time. Then, in the midst of all these anxious feelings, like right before I finished school, I had this dream where I was wandering around a crowded campus, trying desperately to find where my next classroom was supposed to be. Like, those dreams where you're walking and never get anywhere, like it's a nightmare. Except this one ended kind of differently. At one point in the dream, I asked someone where I was supposed to be going, and he said he had no idea where he was supposed to be going. And I realized then that no one did. And he started to laugh, as if it was just so silly that we were all taking this so seriously, and I ended the dream laughing too. And honestly, it was the first time in weeks that I had finally felt at peace with embarking on this unknown artist path. It kind of reminded me of the old saying from a proverb, and it goes something like, "She laughs without fear of the future." But it's still taken me years to learn how to laugh at a blank future and a blank canvas, especially when I don't feel like I have time. When I'm uncertain, the first thing to go is my creative intuition. The abstract part of the creative process when light bulbs flicker on out of nowhere, or where dots connect themselves, all the indefinable parts of the process that make up the quintessential artist experience. I just feel so disconnected from my art when I can't slow down. Tasks and to-do lists become noise that keeps me on the surface of life and makes it harder to dive deep and understand the story I need to tell in any given project. Or even when I'm just trying to understand myself and take stock in what I'm learning and where I'm at. I don't know about you, but I feel like such a zombie and so stagnant when I'm flooded with the demands of too many things to do all at once. I'm really starting to believe that more and more we're not made to survive one day to the next. We're made to reflect and to know ourselves and not to just do. It's as if revelation comes like a timid bird that prefers to land gently in the quiet spaces instead of being coaxed and captured to fit a productivity timeline. And since I dedicated my career to being an artist and left the beaten path of a normal job, it's taken me a long time to begin to respect that about myself. I was raised to expect myself to tie productivity to activity, to typical work hours, and to be able to flip a switch and produce daily and then flip it off when I'm done. I mean, we all are really. But the world is changing. I think we're beginning to recognize that a workflow can be as unique as an individual, especially if you're in a creative field. And I'm learning to forgive myself when my weekdays look very different from a task-oriented work week. And I've been more honest with myself about how much being busy without taking time to breathe and think really just clouds my mind. Reimagining what work life can look like and being brave enough to live it feels really uncomfortable. I still wish inspiration came differently for me. I wish it came more often when I'm at the grocery store, cleaning, or any other chore. I wish it didn't take me so long to refocus between changing tasks. I sometimes wish that my best ideas didn't always have to come late at night when I'm finally open to them. But I'm building this life based on creativity for a reason. If I thrived in the structure of an 8 to 5 job, I would be there. My mind, my disposition, my intuition, none of it's really linear, and it never has been. I'm still learning to make the most of it, to sharpen it and cut out the fears that slow me down and work intentionally, but not necessarily harder. I think the greatest lesson in all this has been becoming confident in the fact that my life really will never look normal again. Because you know what? I don't think the future will look particularly normal anymore either, so you might as well embrace it.